I don't know why you could.
And you were teaching astrocartography?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
45 or 35.
Astrocartography for a total of 35. Wow, I still have a lot.
You earn it so fast, except when you don't.
And then you were teaching new gunnery, right?
Yes. So you might want to pick up a rank of gunnery,
So,
or even 2.
How many ranks of gunnery do you have? Oh, so you can take 2. Is it a career skill for you?
I don't think so.
No.
But you
Yeah,
can
so
still
you
take
can
it.
still take 2 points.
Yeah, 10 plus 15.
He's been spending all this time on the big gun. You know, he wants to get even better with it.
Alternatively, he has the best cunning, but he's entirely untrained in perception.
If you've got the
He has
points,
4 green dice
if
in
you've got the
perception.
points, 10 points in perception.
Unless it's a career skill, in which case you could just do 5 points, and that'd be great.
it's not.
Does
Considering
does
how
anyone
often
else
you
have
can
ranks
get
in
it.
perception?
I think he has a rank.
Because if it's gonna be like a teamwork thing, it's not gonna benefit him until he buys the second rank.
I have 1 rank.
You guys don't need to see danger.
Perception is
It's
unnecessary.
okay.
Literally invented sonar with this guy.
Well, you know, that's why we call him Deadeye.
Oh, yeah.
Well, there's the whole dead thing too.
Perfect.
but
There's the dead thing too, but like
Yeah.
mostly.
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 Hold on, I
So
just need to
Norm,
mark that one before you
2
have that
last.
on perception goes away.
I genuinely don't know where Chimera Street came from on my fucking sheet. I don't remember what session that came up in. I don't know if it's from you or was a joke between us.
It was
or
probably a joke between us.
Probably.
It's like, let's invent a new science.
It was probably Berlin.
No, because it's too dark for that, which means it's newer than that.
Nothing is
Newer
too
than
dark for
Berlin.
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 No,
was
like
pretty
the,
dark.
like the pencil lead on the sheet is too dark for
Oh,
it to have been Berlin.
Egypt.
Might have been
It was
Egypt.
I think it was Egypt.
Because we were talking about the sheep.
Actually, no, I think it might have been when we were talking about where to drop the Aether
The
bomb.
goats. They were goats.
The goats.
Not
The
sheep.
goats. I feel like Chimera Street would be a good combination skill of alchemy and medicine.
Yeah, we could have taken all of the goat parts and made an enormous, I can't remember what it's called.
Monstrosity?
They work for Shub-Niggurath. Shogoths.
Shogoths.
Shogoth.
And you
Yeah, that goes- that would be where it comes from. And it just needs more tentacles.
Surprise, my phone battery's been replaced.
Hey!
By me.
By the blood of his victims.
I am the battery. Michael, run.
I'm getting low on power, you better run.
Run.
Statistically speaking, which one of you has more percentage in you? Percentage of power.
If we're talking about surviving on Dr. Pepper, me?
What?
You have more power in you.
Oh.
Yes,
I'm sorry,
definitely
Mr.
her.
Reading.
You have more
You're the most
power.
powerful.
You have the most soul of all of us.
Oh.
I have lots of souls.
As she flips at the creepy zombie Nazi going, I have all the souls.
Let's see, as a shapeshifter, can I take the shapeshifter talent so I can shapeshift while I shapeshift?
Sounds too meta. Which, by the way, speaking of meta, I discovered in my Star Wars group, this game system is great for players who are playing meta. Because, you know, as a GM, if you describe something off camera, and you're like, oh, but none of them succeeded at perception, and they want to continue pushing the facts. Go ahead and roll those dice.
All you want.
And so becomes an encounter thanks to your 3 threat one person just rolled.
Mm-hmm. I love that the Genesis Talents Expanded keeps getting updated, so it has everything from every book at all times. It has
got
all the
ridiculous.
Android stuff. It has all of the Paramount stuff.
Yeah.
Is that a link?
Yeah, he sent it to us originally. I can repost it into the.
It's been like forever and a day if you want to repost it.
Yeah. Yeah, I have it in my Twilight Imperium Google Drive for the game I run because it's also Genesis.
Only thing is the different prices.
I can.
Yeah, the
actually
different
take-
prices for things.
I can actually take it too.
The question is, what talent do you think you're going for?
No
I
idea.
could get a tier 4 talent. I'm closing in on the tier 5, man. Like I'm moving.
I know Kelly was saying she was wanting to do that too.
What?
Get to tier 5 for dedication.
Yes, yes.
Like if I can get a
I
5 in select.
Dedicated to one another.
And that is intelligence. So this is what your characters are doing on this long voyage
Yep, we're bookkeeping.
north of the
East.
Bering Strait.
Well, no, because we're actually going to Vancouver first. Well, is it Vancouver? That's just north of Seattle?
Just BC
Yeah.
in general.
Okay.
British Columbia.
Yes, we're going to Vancouver first. We're not going to Seattle. because
Ah,
I
Vancouver,
think he's
the
right.
Marseille of the West.
Oh, I didn't hear you. I was looking at my
Oh, we're not going to Seattle because I think you're wanted in the U.S. and I'm not going to ask you because I'm a gentleman.
No, I'm pretty sure no one wants a dead person in the U.S.
That's
You know,
also
that's
fair.
actually a good thing. What is the legal ramifications of being dead? If there was a death warrant out on him, would it still be active because now he's been dead?
I'd like to state that in English common law, it was common for a judge to pronounce someone dead in the courtroom as the punishment for their crime,
Oh, that's
so
right.
that they could serve
So-
their
Sentence.
capital punishment.
right, and that
and
way
then
they
walk
didn't
away.
actually have to.
It was common for people who were convicted of bigamy and sodomy, mostly.
Wow. Okay, my phone does.
Big
not
problem
like
for a
this.
woman who wrote a book that was published like a couple months ago. Someone pointed out that, these gay people weren't actually killed for being gay. They were pronounced dead and then just walked off.
And walked in.
This is provable
Oh, right,
because they were there. Like, there's record of them being alive and doing stuff in the community after that point in time. It's just a thing. It's a workaround in English
So-
common law. It's hilarious.
The
And-
absolving
and-
crime.
so there was
Dead.
No, it's not a loving wrong. You sentence them to death, and then you
were
pronounce
dead.
them dead.
I am the judge of the Royal Court of England, and if I, by the power of the King and God, say you're dead,
You're dead.
you're dead. Yes. The fact that you're still walking around
The technicality.
is a technicality.
It's a
There
bureaucratic
were questions,
technicality.
there were questions, however, on whether they could enter into contracts, and I
Yeah,
don't
see,
think
I'm
they
like-
were able
Yeah.
to.
I
They
was
were
saying,
They
if
were
you're
absolved
dead-
of all
But they
crimes.
were absolved
that
of
they
all
were-
crimes.
But going forward, if you're legally, if your status is dead,
Double
are you
dog
allowed to
day.
get married? Are you
Well,
allowed
That's
to?
what the contract thing.
Well,
Yeah, but I mean,
Right, no.
you can't inherit.
Basically, you've lost
No.
rights.
Well, in the
Right.
in the context of the
You
game,
can't
though,
vote. You
yeah,
can't.
it matters like how well known is it that the undead are.
True.
I mean, they were
actual.
used in war, I believe. So like,
So probably fairly well known.
Yeah.
So there's
It's
probably
known they
law.
exist.
There's probably law that has evolved to incorporate them. Whether they have
I mean,
full rights as someone that's alive,
I
or
mean,
it's just
it's known that mongrels exist too.
Yeah, but that's because people like mating with everything.
Are
Everything.
there bars?
Actually, no. It was it was chimeracy
Alchemi-
effectively that led to mongrels.
Alchemical mutagens dumped in the
Yeah,
water.
well, no,
Yeah.
no, humans mated with alchemical mutagens. I can see this happening.
Oh, is that what Shape of Water was?
But, yeah, but yes, I think that you're actually a renegade Confederate soldier.
This from the paranoid prince of the Russian royal family.
I think he's a Yeti runt.
All
Literal-
shaved naked.
You can get naked and get in the
Well,
snow.
'cause
Let's find out.
It's the time frame and the fact that you're American.
That's fair.
That's fair.
That's fair.
What's
He's always
worse
the American.
is what if not all of him is Confederate, just a little bit
Just-
of Union.
You just need clothes. That's it. And then or burnt face. Who knows?
That's a really
So,
good talent.
while-
Apply to research. Tier
While
3.
we're in Vancouver,
fucking
is
amazing.
Vancouver a big enough town to have a airship port?
Oh yeah, it would have at least a couple, spire stalls.
Okay. Let's stay here,
Okay, so.
fix the ship, do my fancy.
Well, our ship is fine,
Yes.
especially
I
because
thought it took some wounds.
no,
it took
those
some damage from the
bots
side of a
fixed
mountain,
it.
but
Remember
the
with those guys
helpers
going all over?
cleaned and fixed
Hey.
the ship.
Yeah, and
Hey,
we don't have
we
to worry
fixed that
about
by having you get up there and
children
scream.
because I already created the de-icer.
Right.
So what I'm
So-
hearing is
But I want to
we
use
need
the guns up in
spiders the size of our
So,
Oh,
head
yeah,
you
no,
want her
that
to have
we
more
could do.
time to work
crawl
on the
around
gun.
the outside
So-
of the ship to repair it while we're moving.
Do the gun up and down, and I also want to resupply.
Do you want replicators? Because that's how you get replicators.
So we're
I'm
doing
saying-
it over in
it's just-
Vancouver.
We're doing a holdover in Vancouver.
We
to
take
fix the
people's-
gun, do a resupply. Oh,
And you're
and
gonna say people's heads
he
and
has
have spider
become-
legs.
he has become-
Why do I know that's
Actually,
exactly
we're
what you're
gonna speak
thinking?
in like
I saw it,
some
dude. I knew
captains.
it.
Oh,
It's like this
okay.
just sounds like Futurama
They
right here.
need people
It
heads
sounds-
And
in order
if
to know
we
how to
need
fix the ship.
contact
It sounds like
whoever
Toy
actually
Story.
owns the boat
Uh-huh.
to
Also
read
has
out
on the
whatever
spider.
we need to do.
Since you lost the captain,
Since
who
we
was all
lost
on
the old
paperwork.
captain, I'd like to at least start that process, but then again, it would take like a month to actually get word back to
To
him.
send the telegraph
And a month to get it back,
go.
so we're not actually going to wait for that.
Okay. So basically, to your mysterious benefactor, you're sending the telegraph office. You're in Vancouver. There's snow. You're all bundled up in these big, nice, big, heavy-duty parka coats.
I thought we were still in August.
But it's Vancouver.
Oh, okay.
After the ether bomb went off,
Okay.
everything's colder.
Sorry, the time actually kind of runs into things because we need to be in Germany for October.
For Oktoberfest, yeah.
This is important.
This
If
is
it
important.
was September, we'd actually need to kind of leave.
Yeah.
In fact, we probably need to get in touch with that guy at the shop to start setting things up
No.
at this point.
No.
Just like reserving a space. you
I'm
know,
pretty sure the space will be reserved for
sending
us.
sending Borneo Bill here. to-
No. I'm the 8-man at Zanzibar. He's gonna be Borneo Bill.
I can sell this. This is fine.
I dare them to kill him. It'll take a lot of work.
Oh,
What are you
He
gonna
just
do?
keeps getting back up.
how are
What
you
are you
gonna
gonna
Okay,
do?
so I'll
Kill
lower,
me?
I'll set the
How are you
turbo
being
ether
lit
fan
on
to lower
fire?
and retract into the hull.
Okay, so give me a mechanics roll as the two of you
Oh
are
god.
Actually,
going to
I am-
the nearest pilot's license office, which is the lucky lady.
I thought you were gonna play rock paper scissors for a
Nope.
second.
So you
Is it
guys
on
go to
Hawaii?
the Airship pilot office, which is this ramshackle building that you can see. There's like 5 or 6 crashed airships behind it,
No big deal.
And you would like to both apply for your
Against
pilot's license. It's going to be against 2 purple.
Nope, I was already gonna do it.
Sucks.
Well, it starts out as dark.
No, he
Why?
I didn't do it. I was just flipping mine so we start legit. Wow.
I have to do it.
They
same
were
for
all
him,
light, so I had to
otherwise-
make sure I had my guy.
Okay,
Don't touch the dice, I guess. Or
yeah. Triumph! Okay, so I got 3 successes. Well, 2 successes, a triumph, and 2 threat.
2 threat. Not 3 threat, but 2 threat. Okay, so you basically are hooked up to the airship spire, which is this like 3 levels tall, 3 pegs come off to say, and this one's got her rigging gear on, like dangling back, making this thing wiggle, and she's screaming for wenching, so you guys can flip the wench up and down. And meanwhile,
Well,
You-
I'm glad she didn't get 3 threat because otherwise it would have blown up the electronics on the entire ship.
No. Right next to her would have been another airship with a familiar face parking and stepping off, and you just see
That was
the.
a joke on the. That was a joke on the gun, right? 3 threat and wipes out.
Or discharges in town.
No, because I did too well.
So you guys are at the local airship registry. Go ahead and give me both a operations roll against 3 purple for the equivalent of your test.
Wait a second. Operations?
Yeah, operations, because you want to be an airship pilot.
I thought it was astrocartography. That's
No,
what I've
that's
been
navigation.
studying.
No, that's
That's to navigate.
navigation.
You guys want your
That's so we don't
captains-
keep hitting Marseille.
Oh.
That's why we
Can I also get a point in operation?
Can you over what?
Also get a point in operation?
Do you have enough points to spend?
Oh yeah.
Spend it then.
He's like, I just want to make sure I survive this.
I actually just want to make sure I have a chance. That was
As,
my first
as
point.
this big Canadian guy will slap you and say, "You shall never pilot again! You are a menace to the till."
It's okay though, cause mind rape.
No, I don't like that term. Okay, no more using that term.
No more Cthulhu doing that.
Well, it's
Well,
Okay.
it's the latter part
Mind
of the term that I object
unconsensual
to.
dating.
I'll adjust, but it's a D&D spell that I grew up with, so I remember it well. But I'll adjust. Mind training.
3 purple.
Three
James.
It's a hard test. They want to make sure you're a good pilot.
Disarm. May spend triumph or 2 advantage with a successful brawl or melee check to disarm opponent. What if my opponent is unarmed?
No!
Can I disarm?
You can spend a triumph. You can spend a triumph for snapping that elbow, or scissoring those first 2 bones.
Yeah.
It's like,
Well,
it doesn't
You
really
can
say if
gladly-
it's.
With a light side point, bring balance to the force. You know you wanna.
Actually, no. I'm going to use something else I've never used before. This is a legal good, right?
This is a legal test. It's
Okay.
like going to the DMV and taking the
I
legal test.
have the ability to once per game session just get something that's legally obtainable.
This you have to do the test. This can't just be purchased, or can it?
Or
can.
can it?
I mean, it just depends on, like, he's giving you the license, right? And other people are supposed to trust him?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's
So the answer is we kill him.
And make it look like an accident.
Yes.
Oh, I see.
That and that right
We,
each other.
we make it look like the Queen of England did it, and we blackmail her.
And
for
One
it's
license.
threat.
2. Yeah. So your end result is 1 threat. So he
Ooh.
finishes the test and he's sweating bullets. Take 1 strain for that test. As you slide the test to the guy, and this guy's like looking at it and sipping his coffee and realizes his coffee's cold. So he slides out the frozen chunk of coffee and pours some fresh coffee in there, and he's sipping the test. And he's staring in the paper and staring in the paper, and then he's staring at you. And he's staring at the paper and
And there's a
how
what
much?
is 1 week's wages for him?
For him? With or without bribery?
Is bribery taken into account on his
If
taxes?
you were to slide him $100,
Listen, the American government
that
doesn't give a
might be a
fuck what you do
sufficient
as long as
bribe.
you-
$100 is
income
like 5
on the
years'
tax
salary
form.
for most people.
Do you know how dangerous it is to give someone who failed the written exam their pilot's license?
It's called.
Apparently not very.
Look at the 3 ships in the backyard.
It seems like they didn't fail their written test. That's why they got to pilot the ship.
So how much are you gonna offer him?
You're probably better at shooting than he is.
Slide $5 or put the gun on the table?
Or both.
$5 is not enough. I will
5
slide-
isn't enough.
I
100's
will,
too
I will
much.
slide,
He's a
I will
respectable
slide,
man.
I will slide
Is he?
20.
Do we
He'll
know
slide
that?
Because
20?
there is a
You know
there
when it's
there
too
is
low.
a respectability amongst bribes.
Okay.
That should be about 1 month's salary.
$20, that'll give you an advantage. And he just sips his coffee mighty slowly, looking at your $20.
Does he need anyone erased? Because we're
Okay.
we're troubleshooters.
Since now we're even, let's go to charm.
Okay, go for
I'm a
it.
nice guy.
Okay. You're gonna charm a bureaucrat.
Cutting, but
Who gave him money?
And I'll give you the blue dice for the money. But it is going to be against a red and a purple. And we need our good doctor to make his roll too.
roll.
Well, that's a triumph if I ever saw one. So, that's a lot. So that blue dice with those 2 advantages is going to take out those 2 threat right there. So immediately he is slowly sipping that coffee and you start putting on the schmooze. The Peter...
And I'll also say, what's his name from? Do you know what's his name from Spain?
He doesn't.
blame the
He
main on.
doesn't.
He doesn't know the guy. But when you're telling about all these locations, he starts to want to hear more about more spires and other places. And I'm assuming you do the schmooze that this is the best spire station I've been to.
Well, not only that, I'm also saying how I'm actually taking the ship from place to place. I just do really poorly on written tests, but you should see me up there.
And you see him kind of like he like marks some answers correctly on the page and basically goes back, asks you to stand over at the side there, brings out the big old camera, pulls out
Yes.
the thing and says, "Don't move," and has you standing there while he walks back behind the counter to check the other gentleman getting his license test.
Joseph. Roll.
Why the hell am I getting a license? I don't.
Do you not want it? He's just wanting the legal document for it. It's funny, the guy's been halfway around the world with no documentation.
Right. All right.
That's
what
what
I
we're
gotta do.
doing.
It's 3 purple.
Wait, does this mean you're gonna get like an actual medical license now?
No. This is a pilot's license.
No, I know, but we're setting precedent.
No.
You're the doctor.
In his office is a framed picture that says, "I the doctor" in crayon.
Yeah, that'll work.
Stuff. Good
this,
stuff.
This. So 3 successes.
So you easily, and the guy's just like, right. As soon as he's done, I need you to stand over there by the camera. He comes over the camera, throws the little hood over, puts the thing in, pulls the plate out, puts a new plate in, asks you to step aside, flips the thing up, and he's basically, going back and printing you up your little official little certificate that's only about this big. That and your real one will come to whatever address you gave him in about 6 months.
Oh man.
It takes 6 whole months to get across
Where
the
are we
Atlantic.
going to be in 6 months?
Where do you tell him you're gonna be?
What month is it currently? Is it currently March? Because
It's-
I know where we'll be in
No,
6
we're
months.
in
now.
August.
It's like
We will give him
February?
a villa
In
Morocco.
in Morocco.
6 months after March. I know
Okay.
what it will
Because
be.
they will know wherever I am in 6 months.
That is where you hang your hat. So okay, your villa in Morocco is where your license will be.
Right. And that also makes my lie to the Baron not a lie, because that is my home.
True, that is true. And what about the good doctor?
Oh, it's going back to London.
Okay. To the family estate.
Oh, there's no family estate. I just
Family estate.
it's a shop.
The family estate is a PO box?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so you guys, resupply. You've got everything you guys need.
So, can we sell the Tibet goods here, or are we not going to get a good price for them?
You're probably not going to get the best price for
Okay.
anything than women in Vancouver.
Okay. So, in that case,
It is still the gold rush in Vancouver.
So let's resupply the ship. The ship has $1,000 worth of money of its own. We're not really selling anything, so we're not dispersing things amongst ourselves. We want supplies, general supplies,
Okay.
more oil, replacement parts. Things that will help them survive
Are we
the winter
planning?
that they can't make themselves.
So we're planning on going to the North Pole.
Yes.
Yes.
Not the South Pole.
Well, no. So we need like cold weather gear and camping supplies. Do we need dogs?
Well, I thought we
Christmas-
got that
So we
already.
have cold
Well,
weather
we-
supplies. We just came from.
We came from
the
Tibet.
Himalayas.
Yeah.
Right.
And she has that cool heat web around the
We
ship.
have, I've set up a whole de-icing system.
So we're just gonna keep the ship with.
Yeah, the ship is our home basically,
Right.
and it has a de-icer that I created.
I thought we also all got cold weather gear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we
Well, we
did.
got the robes.
Yeah, we have the.
The yak
Right.
hive coats that are all really cool.
What happens if I resurrect a yak hide?
It screams horribly.
That would make it interesting, right?
That's how we're gonna wake people.
Wake up,
So
everyone.
I'm buying like the things that would go out to a mining camp.
Ammunition.
Ammunition is very good.
Ammunition's always expensive.
And
Does the big gun require any? Like, are there any replacement parts that we need for the big gun?
You can't really buy any replacement parts for that beast here.
Okay. What if we threaten them with the big gun?
Then all of a sudden, all these little tiny balloons start flowing up and exploding.
Anti-depth charges.
But we do
charges.
also
The
want to
rise
get,
charges.
we also
Charges.
want to get whatever
Just
supplies
negative
that
depth.
we
Negative
used in the month
Uh-huh.
or so we've been out.
So about $80 will replenish the ship's supply, especially since the villagers were so nice to help give you stuff that they had.
Do we need? Did you say we needed digging gear?
Mining.
Like no, specifically digging. Like, is whatever we're looking for possibly hidden under ice? Or-
What do you tell the crew by the
Yeah,
way?
like,
for this trip
like I'm
north?
assuming we're going to dig up some Cthulian temple, because that
In
seems
the
like a
north.
good idea to me.
Okay, I have
down
to do
for that.
I have to do this in order.
Okay. So what are you gonna convince
So,
the crew that
no,
this is why
the
we're
first
going?
person I have to talk to is Phil.
Okay. Peter, my dear, tell me what you must tell me. There are no secrets between you and my thigh.
Our relationship was originally built upon secrets. But things have changed. Tibet changed things.
It's not me, baby. It's you.
If
Oh no.
you want to continue being part of my life, and I sincerely, with all of my heart, hope you do, we need to be honest with each other.
With the H-bomb.
And you need to go first.
Oh!
What? Yeah.
And because she is who she is, she basically will come to you and say, Peter, my love, there are no secrets between us that love can't conquer. And I want you to know that you are special to me, but I need to know what secrets you need to know. What's your perception, by the way?
Perception?
Yeah.
My perception is 1 with a 3 attribute.
Okay. So continue what you're saying. She's doing something.
Okay.
And she's doing something. Wow! Barely good enough to have 1 success, no advantage. But she does a thing while you're talking. As she's getting her robe on and doing the defensive lady thing where she gets slightly dressed now that we're having serious for reals talk.
I need to know who you were working for and why you needed to leave Europe.
And she looks at you deep in the eyes and tells you that I work for a few organizations that try to keep their hands in many pots. And unfortunately, one of the organizations that I was born into, unfortunately, was trying to continue controlling me. And they had discovered where I was. And sadly, my father wanted me back, or dead. And she gets really close up into your ear because she wants to make sure nobody in the crew's listening in. She basically whispers to you that her father is the Baron of Sound. And that you kind of get the recollection that one of the Barons of the Sovereignty is her father, who's like the specialist of telecommunications as they exist in this world. And I can never go back to him for what he did to my mother. And she plants a big old kiss on your lips. And at that moment, she's kissing you. It's a passionate kiss.
I kiss her back.
Now give me a resilience check against a red and 2 purple. As she secretly slipped out her knockout lipstick and put it on.
Resilience?
Yeah, resilience.
Women swear.
A red and 2 purple. And because we need drama,
And we need drama.
2 red and a purple.
Dum, dum,
Dum. So turn one of those purple red.
I was just gonna say.
I was actually just
I was just
about
gonna
to
say,
do that.
what are the odds
But-
you've got an evil twin?
I am the evil.
They are the best.
I am. I'm literally the evil one of the
twin.
twins. I am.
No, you might be the evil twin, but you tell everyone that the other one's the evil.
No,
And
no.
being the good one, they would not be well able to get rid of that.
It's like the 2 doors. How can you really trust her if she's saying she's
She
evil
always, one
twin?
always speaks the truth, and the other one always lies.
So that's a lotto fail.
So you kiss her, and you're getting into the kiss. And without even you realizing it,
There's something I need to tell you.
and your eyes roll back, and she like gingerly dives her hands into your hair and continues the kiss into the pillow,
She's gonna take your brain.
leaving lipstick marks all over you. That and
She's
then
your construct, isn't she?
All I'm saying is if I was gonna make an assassin,
And then who's got the best awareness in the crew, by the way?
Yeah.
Wait. Can
vigilance or
I say one word before I pass
Yeah.
out? Or 2 words?
Sure.
Rosebud.
Oh, it's not me.
God damn it.
It's the right time.
I'm Roman.
It's not the right time.
The last breath
No,
in your
early
lips is
1900s,
I'm
wasn't it?
Roman enough as you
We're
start
always-
We're in the
snoring.
1870s.
But
So-
it's the
so-
right.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So what's your perception?
My perception is I got 4. And then
4 greens and a yellow.
4
No, no,
greens.
4.
there's 4 greens.
So I'll go ahead and let you roll rather than rolling her stealth. It's going to be against 3 reds and a purple.
Oh, man.
There's a reason why she was able to go
Alright.
with the lipstick really quick, and you guys never
So
see.
he failed his,
He failed.
Constitution.
3 fails. Yeah, he failed his save versus poison.
Do you need one more green?
Oh.
Yeah, that's a good one. Good luck.
Alright.
The odds are not on your side.
Poison lipstick.
No, actually, he has a. No, he doesn't. Lots
Go
of
ahead and
threat.
start
Just
parceling
so
them
much,
out.
so much threat.
Yeah, so.
Just a whole fuck ton of threat.
That's all it has.
Yeah.
How much threat?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh my god!
Five threat. 5
shite.
threat.
He was just walking around and suddenly an orphan hits him in the ear.
He falls off the ship, but he gets caught in the rigging. He doesn't die.
So
but-
off camera, you see Hilda like doing the whole Obi-Wan Kenobi thing just ahead of everyone's
Yeah, I was
view.
gonna say.
She's got just enough of her clothing on her and a couple layers and like hoodie Eskimo style up and around her face, and she's got a small attaché case full of clothes. You can see like
Wait, which ship-based talent did you get? Did you get the one that allows you to notice things around the ship better? Down at the bottom.
to add a blue.
Greased palms.
Oh.
Ah.
Heightened awareness. I like Yeah.
And just as you would almost have seen her, you kind of like were just paying attention to some stuff going on at the next ship over. As you're just kind of looking, and kind of your cold, unblinking, dead eyes are kind of intimidatingly looking at the people that are doing a thing in their porthole. And you're staring at something going on.
That just sounds wrong.
There's something going on in their porthole.
I've killed people with tentacles, and that's creepy.
That's I love that. That's a good
And of
saying.
course, Hilda slips off the ship. She passes some credits to
That's right, you still
the local, steward that's there at the lift that helps guide her down. She gives him a ridiculously good tip, and she's off the pier and gone. Poor Peter's gonna wake up. There's gonna be this beautiful love letter with lipstick marks on like both sides of it, and her perfume. You probably don't want to kiss those lipstick marks. And you basically are staring at the other ship. And you're not meaning to be offensive or anything, but you're just like, something caught your eye. As you realize both people who are doing something in their cabin are looking right back at you like, why are you looking at us, you weirdo?
It's like
Carry on.
It's like when there's two cruise ships docked, and there you can look across, and there's people there, and you
Like,
can
hey.
wave back, and they wave back.
As he's knocked out, he hears heavy breathing coming from the porthole.
Everyone in the ship hears, carry on.
Carry on.
As you were. And there's just something about them that you keep going back and looking at their ship.
Mom?
There's
Or
just,
is it? Maybe it's a Confederate ship.
Ooh.
you don't know what it is, but something is just drawing you to this ship.
Just floating.
Does it smell like women? No,
It's
because
Vancouver. It's Vancouver. Everything's
No,
Vancouver.
because you said we were in Vancouver, it was that part of the gold rush, and he just told me he hasn't touched a woman in years. I'm like, are you going to
He
get
was
us?
merely saying that to get into your cabin.
I told him I had neither.
No,
Not with my hands.
Back to him.
I didn't even strongly imply that.
So of course you guys are doing your regular duty stuff. Peter had a big announcement to tell you guys, but he disappeared into his cabin with Hilda like usual.
That makes sense.
Your supplies end up showing up, right on time. You guys load up your supplies, put everything there. Peter's taking an awful long time to come tell you guys the plans.
I'm
Have
timbering.
any of us not learned to not go into his cabin when we go there together?
The orphans were the first ones to learn.
I'm pretty sure that a lot of us have. This is not a soundproof ship.
I was gonna say. I've never been in there.
Oh, you might not know better.
Yeah.
Or we could be, maybe one of us talks into the
Talking
tubes, but you get no reply from Peter.
Yeah. So you call
investigate, yeah.
Peter. Okay.
Like, hey, how do you want this?
No reply.
Okay, so do I do an awareness or
Well,
something?
What are you
do?
doing?
I guess the
I
It's
question.
like I'm like if he no reply, I'll go to his cabin.
Knock,
Does it
knock,
just
knock.
open?
You nothing. No reply.
Do I hear? I'm gonna listen.
Give me a perception there.
Perception
Yeah.
against.
I'll give you. It's going to be against 2 purple, and I'll give you a blue since you probably seem to be the nosy type that have done this before.
That's fair.
I did very well. I got 3 successes and an advantage.
3 successes. She's done this before.
The best part to listen is
Hey,
this
it's my
part.
ship. I can open any door in the ship if I like.
The best place to hear his cabin is this ear hole that I installed months ago.
That's actually an ear.
I have a master key to the entire ship.
Okay, so I will give you that you can. It sounds dead silent in there.
Okay, I open up. What do I see?
You basically see poor Peter sprawled out in his casual wear, with lipstick marks all over, his eyes rolled back, kind of fluttering, a little more than REM sleep flutter, and he looks super comfy.
I
And the
Shake
room
him.
smells of like 3-day sex.
Yeah. When was the last time he cleaned his room?
And you do notice that Hilda's clothes and steamer chests seem to have been hastily ran through and packed up. But they're still there. The big chests are still there.
Okay, is he on the floor or on the bed?
He's on the bed.
Okay.
Big note right next to him with lipstick on it.
I'll read the note. Cause I'm nosy.
You get the note and you break the little fake wax.
Oh, there's
a
wax
seal on it.
No, then I wouldn't do that.
She's smart.
No.
Uh,
I
And
could
she gets out
totally
her
steam
tools.
it. I know, it'd be steam, but I'm like, so I'm gonna shake him awake.
okay, so she takes you a while to get him awake, but finally, Peter, you start waking up and your beautiful Hilda is kissing you, and in your dream phase, it's like Hilda, my dove, and then it's Scrapper sitting on top of you, shaking you.
Grease on my face. Wake up. Wakey, wakey, eggs and bacon. Not really, no, it's no breaking. No breaking.
Not really, there's no
This lie of it all.
It's actually 3 in the afternoon.
It's been 5 years you've been asleep.
You want something
You're
Hippie
not
Galley?
Hilda.
Huh?
You're not Hilda.
You noticed that? So did I.
What time is it?
I'm gonna tell him it's 3 in the afternoon.
Is it really 3 in the afternoon?
I don't know.
Yeah,
It's almost
Okay,
tea
tell
time. It's almost tea time.
It's always tea time.
Yep. It's like,
What day is it?
That's a good question when Hilda's involved.
I'll tell him the date. It's like, and you've got mail.
got mail.
Hey, I used to work for AOL, okay?
I thought you
I
said
had
it
it
had
to- Yeah, I handed it to you.
He's still under the effects of the drugs.
Did you see it open?
No, she didn't.
No,
seem to
I
open.
didn't.
So you break the little wax seal on it,
Break the little wax.
And I'm like,
and you
what'd she
immediately
say?
recognize the lipstick marks.
I'm seeing some.
And you can tell her handwriting is very hasty because you've seen her write slow and beautiful. This is rather hasty. And she says, Peter, my darling, my angel, my savior, the king of my heart, the lord of my soul. I told you my greatest secret, but I cannot tell you anymore, for it would endanger you. And you are the most precious belonging I have in this world or the next. You will find me again, I know. And I know that you were about to tell me something secret that I don't wish you to give away the currency of your secrets yet. I want you to do what you need to do. Your mind has been preoccupied, I can tell from the way you've been acting lately. You have something you need to do without me being in the way. I will find you again, just like I know you will find me first. Your love. Hilda, and basically Hilda von blah 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 blah, and like 8 names later, and the last one is the name that you know, historically speaking, is the name of the Baron of Communication.
The Baron of Sound.
Mm-hmm.
So, before he was the Baron of Communications, was he a rich noble?
No, he was a
one of the
German
proletariat?
inventor.
Oh, German inventor.
German inventor that joined the sovereignty
But
because, you know,
sovereignty because he was young and active.
genius. Yeah, genius. You get to join the think tank. You get to join in with the other geniuses that spent too much time playing with ether and went nuts.
Other lady, did she?
Then, of course, he's obsessed with the ability to communicate to people's minds. Is his hang-up. He wants to make a telepathy Tesla machine.
Doesn't everybody? Doesn't everybody?
So Hilda will be going with us to the North Pole.
Oh, looks like.
Oh, wow!
Hey, I never
Scrapper-
liked it to
she will-
begin with.
As Scrapper
She
looks
will,
over
however,
this beautiful
it's true.
brassiere that's got such big cups.
She will, however, be joining us later.
Right.
Right.
Whatever you say.
So
You keep telling yourself that.
before I talk to the rest of the crew, I need to talk to you next. Because if you don't want the Gallivant to do this,
By the way, did you close the door behind you, or is the door swinging wide open?
It's probably swinging wide open.
Yeah,
Can
and
you
no,
close the
probably
door?
not wanting to.
Okay, I'll close the door.
and I'll close off the sound.
By the way, you go walking by as you see Scrapper closing Peter's door. Just one of you randomly walking by.
And I'll close all the
Gets all
sound.
the action.
I'll close off all the sound tubes.
Okay.
Well, it depends on your definition of action.
And I'll
Does
put a
he have
piece of
tentacles?
wax in the ear.
He created an aether god.
Some of us get to fuck reality.
I mean, I'm just saying, right?
Player character.
You and Zeus, you create fully clothed
Can I
things.
use my talent to see if anyone's spying on, if he's spying on me ether-wise?
Sure you can.
Let's try that.
Because in general, let's see if there's anyone listening in.
So cunning.
Hmm?
So 2 of these and 1 of these is 3 against.
Against a red and a purple, because someone might actually be listening in. Triumph. Wow.
You start with this triumphs now.
So 1 advantage, 1 failure, and
No.
yeah, one because those 2.
Oh, those 2
take-
right. Okay.
So you basically take a moment and you tell her shh, and you go walking around your room checking real quick, because after all, Hilda was in this room. And you realize that on Hilda's steamer, one of her like 18 steamer chests that take up half your room, you're hearing a sound. And you get closer to the steamer chest, and you kind of like open it some more and move some things around. And there's actually a wax cylinder recording device that seems to have like an 8 rack of cylinders that when one's full, it rolls to the next one. And it just seems to have somehow accidentally been bumped and turned on. But other than that, it doesn't seem to be anyone else eavesdropping.
Can I have it?
It's this
I'm gonna take
really
the
cool cylinder
I'm
recorder.
gonna take the device.
This is really cool, by the way. Top of the line for non-Uber ether tech.
I need to tell you something. And if you don't want the Gallivant to do this, I'm going to need to find another ship.
I'm looking at him suspiciously. It's like, what do you want more Gallivant for?
It's time for me to tell you where we're going and who I am.
Thought we was going to the North Pole.
We are.
You Santa Claus?
In the
God.
North Pole, there is the remnants of the Russian royal family and army in exile.
Alright. And why do we need to know this?
Because I'm the prince.
Oh, my boots!
Sure you are! Oh, that's
Look at this
funny.
guy. Must have gotten knocked on the head one too many times.
You joking, you. That's too... You're not laughing. No.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
Okay, now if you expect me to freaking bow and curtsy to you, ain't gonna happen, mate.
I'm not expecting it.
So, you say this like there's a problem.
Well, there's a big problem.
Care to elaborate?
Almost everybody else in the world wants me and them dead.
Like that's anything different from what we've already been experiencing. So, what's the danger to the Gallivant? Just that?
That's a Tuesday night.
That's it. It's no more dangerous than going to Marseille.
Once you go there, once you do this, you can't undo it.
Once I visit the North Pole, I can never do it again.
Oh, you can do it again, but
Is them the only people up there? I mean,
pretty much.
huh.
What about the elves? The fat man.
St. Nicholas.
My name's Richard Nixon. Thank you very much.
Alright, well, secret's safe with me. I ain't gonna tell nobody. And I ain't gonna bow and curtsy to no one. Okay, maybe the king. Or is it
Is it
Queen
Queen?
Victoria
Queen?
now?
Yeah.
So it's
Victoria.
still Queen Victoria? Okay. Okay, maybe the queen. You're gonna tell the rest of the crew? But if we vote, I'm willing to go. Like, taken care of Gallivant before, and we'll take care of Gallivant again. Just don't be reckless.
I was about to say, have I ever been? But the answer to that would be yes.
Not as much as other people on our crew.
I haven't been reckless.
All of the wreck has
I was-
been mine.
Yeah.
I am wreck full, thank you so much.
And I was perfectly safe when I went to go beat the hell out of those orphans.
That was wreck full, not reckless.
If everyone
That
else
was
is
just
on
wreck.
board, I'm on
Get
board.
wrecked.
It was neutral. It was wreck neutral.
Gallivant's
There was
taking care
there was
of
no
us,
deficiency
and
or
we'll take care of
overabundance.
it. Ain't that right, Gallivant, my love?
As the ship moans in the wind.
Oh, there actually is one stipulation.
Knowledge.
So when
Knowledge
you
heresy.
you would have to curtsy.
We'll discuss that in the event that it happens.
Fair enough.
Okay, so you guys go
Go up to the captain. Go up to the.
ring the little bell for everyone to come up and meet.
Ring the bell for.
Ship meeting
Ship
or
meeting.
dinner, one or the other.
Dinner! It's like 3 in the afternoon, but now we're hungry.
Dinner.
It's
God, we're all 65 years old. No dinner at 3:30.
Technically,
You're
I'm
still in
only like
Tibetan
6
time.
months old.
You're in
For like 2
Himalaya
months.
time. It's still like, late at night for you.
As I'm coming down, I'm like, wow, thanks for ruining my show.
Oh.
Oh.
Right.
Like,
So
what were
what
you
you told
doing in
me.
the observation deck? Obviously on lookout.
Alright, first off, serum to secrecy first.
Yes.
And by the way, he's got lipstick all over him he doesn't
No,
know
I-
about.
Yeah, nice dog. Yeah.
That's the closest you're getting to a woman.
Come on, don't leave me hanging. No, alright then. Think to myself.
It's an American thing.
Oh,
It's American.
American.
you want to take like samples of this?
And he tries to his thing.
No, he's like, you want to take samples of this?
I can just see I can just see Face Man from 18.
Wait. First of all, is this character solely attracted to women? And secondly, no, because it's like, because it's like, you need to get a sample of this.
Yeah.
Your
Pass.
presence
I'm
is
a
pretty
good.
good.
Really good.
Your
That's
presence
so
is
full.
Wait,
full.
sorry, it's a knockout drug. I'm still a little groggy.
Yeah, you're not
He's
quite
like,
that
this
ugly.
is a knockout drug.
It keeps getting
He's
better.
a knockout.
Let me hit you with the Russian blue steel.
He's like, take notes, son.
Oh, don't worry. You've all been taking notes when you're going through the ship.
You might want to reproduce it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's gotta be better.
Is that what the lab scientists are saying in Vienna these days?
I have to write all of this encounter down right now. You talk to them.
Is this why we called the bell?
This is just bragging.
Is this Berlin?
Oh my god. That's hilarious.
Well, that was a productive meeting, folks.
Thanks for the show.
So while he's getting samples, you're swearing them to secrecy.
Oh, great.
I need all of you
Whoa.
to keep the secret that I'm about to tell you to your final graves.
You should look at both of them when you say it that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just because I'm dead doesn't mean I'm undead. Wait.
No.
Undead.
Reday.
You're non-dead.
Death Redux.
You're making things complicated, Scott.
I never make things complicated.
This next trip we're going on is different than the previous ones.
Has also a swab
Once-
swabbing his lips.
Or some in his ears. It's like, that one's tainted.
Once you know this information, you will be part of this faction for the rest of your lives.
Shouldn't be too long for me.
If
That brings us
you
back to
not
can
want to
revenants
do this,
and turn to contracts.
if you do not want this burden, leave now and you'll cash out your share. And you'll leave with good tidings.
Would I be remembered if I stay?
Almost certain.
I'm only staying then.
Glory lives forever.
That's my one flaw.
Is there going to be an element of profit? Possibly. Ideally.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's more important.
Yeah.
Oh, money's on the table.
Unless,
Okay.
unless of course we
gravitas.
die.
That's the same as any day.
If any of you guys
You've
die, I
already
can just bring
gotten
you back.
mine. You've already gotten mine, but I thought they might like to know.
You got me on both things, being remembered and money.
I don't have anything better to do. Like I'm a little burned out over the last few months.
Burned out. Maybe about 6,000 degrees Fahrenheit.
Jules.
Money.
I'm gonna have to think about it.
Makes sense. Well,
Quick,
it's a
lock
big
him in his
kind of-
lab.
For now, we'll go.
Why don't you think about it and then come back and
And the
Where's
ship will be
Vancouver?
gone. Take
A couple of weeks to get to the North Pole. I can drop myself into the snow and come back.
If he dies, he dies.
Snowman of Zanzibar. How abominable.
Very well. If you take your leave of the ship, I'll tell the others.
Sure. I'll leave. I'll go wander about Vancouver.
Go down just the main street and the 12 buildings that they have there.
One of them's some type of drug shop.
Oh yeah.
It's an
Oh, certainly.
old time remedy store. Like,
Yeah.
This is the diluted 12% cocaine formula.
Takes care of what ails you.
Would you like log them in the half gallon or the whole gallon?
Yeah,
You're
you
like
want ether and ether?
No.
Okay.
He wants ether and
Should we
ether.
take a bathroom
Yes. Because I was gonna go after he gets back.
break? Yeah, I think at this point it's like.
Wow. Sorry, didn't mean to hijack the
It
story
got
quite this much.
deep. No, it's good.
That was great.
As he excuses himself, and now we get down to the nitty gritty. We have war drones to get past.
Yes.
We have to go to the north, find the elves,
Take down the elves.
prepare the main cannon for flying reindeer.
This is what you get for giving me coal.
Somewhere, some ether tech genius has made the Santa Claus from Futurama. Someone's been a bad boy. Ho, ho, ho.
Don't Krampus my style.
Maybe in this reality, Krampus becomes more popular than Santa Claus does. You know, that would be actually quite interesting. We celebrate Krampus much more than we celebrate Santa Claus because of the whole war thing and the general darkness of this world.
Well, Santa actually really isn't big until like the 1910s,
Until
1920s.
the marketing started.
So yeah, and it started from the U.S.
Being good for goodness sake doesn't come into favor until it's marketable.
Being good for goodness sake doesn't work
Well,
unless
and
you're getting stuff out of it.
Christmas trees didn't come into until Victoria's age.
Right.
Well, they were around. Well, they were
No,
called
she
Christmas
imported
trees.
it.
Yeah.
Like, they were a German tradition. I'm
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah, they were a pagan tradition from beforehand,
But
but they
having
weren't
a
a
tree in your
Christmas
house
tree. Yeah.
was because of Victoria. She,
Decided she wanted to burn down all of London.
yeah, pretty much, right? Hey, it's been done before.
Yeah.
All the great rulers do it at least once.
sure. At least once. The truly great ones, multiple times.
That's the problem.
Well, that's how you know that you're truly great. If you can burn down your city more than once and rebuild it, there you go.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
I mean, look at Bush.
The burning one or the president? They're both applicable to the situation.
In this case, both, I guess.
What do you mean work?
You want to take samples of this.
What did you
It's
say?
a knockout
It's a
drug.
knockout drug.
It's Hilda's knockout drug.
Oi, oi. As the rest of us just gotta turn around like,
Is this what we call the meeting for?
Is this it?
That was amazing.
So the next legitimate business venture that we get into, we mutate you into Santa Claus.
No, we don't.
Yeah, you're used to mutating anyway.
Because he won't let me take the shape changer.
Maybe he'll.
So I can shape change while I shape change.
Is it just a matter of points? Why can't he shape change?
You can take it.
See, there you go.
Well,
Well, you have to turn into Santa Claus.
no, here's the fun thing about the craft skills. You don't need to take a talent to shape change people. You just change their shape and heal them.
Well, is shape changing the ability for him to control his shape changing, or to shape change other
Well, it
people?
would be additional shape changing
Yeah.
on top of his power, which lets him
Yeah.
do the whole Jekyll Hyde thing.
Yeah, and so I would
Okay,
just
I
drift
thought-
further into it.
Oh, I thought that
So-
would give him more control.
Yeah, basically it would give him
Yeah.
more physical control over
Yeah.
what he looks like.
And so, well, also it gives me this almost the same benefits as before. So that means that instead of my brawn going to 4 when I shape change, it would go to 5. My agility would go to 4. My intellect would drop to 2, so I'd finally be average. Double shape changed. Utterly retarded.
He then goes
Average.
from the Ape Man of Zanzibar to Bane from Batman.
But Bane is
Willpower
not
drops
smarter.
to 0, which
So that's what makes Bane so
Makes it
badass.
one.
Is he's Batman genius, you
He
know.
is, yeah.
He is the best of both worlds.
Certainly the comic book version.
Yeah,
And
the
to a
real
lesser extent-
version.
And to a lesser extent, like the animated series version does it too. But the movie versions have been
Very wanting.
surprisingly generic.
Yeah, because you know I do like the animated one where he had the true South American accent. He's a badass mercenary who basically then got jumped up on the roids, you know.
And then later on, it showed the after effects of his body becoming dependent on the damn stuff.
Like in Batman Beyond, did
Yeah.
you see that one where it's like, "Arr, don't do steroids, kids.
That was a good, that not anvilicious.
Yeah.
Don't do steroids.
Because in the series they had stim packs to bait out.
yeah, no, like if I had shape changer on top of my monster ability, my brawn would then start going up 2, my agility up 2, my intellect and willpower down 2. I would add damage and defense and advantage to all of my brawl and melee hits.
And then I start hitting you with ship weapons. Everyone hide behind him for some blue dice.
Listen, I can give, with talent, I can give my unarmed strikes sunder, pierce, stun. Just so many ridiculous things.
That's when bad things start happening.
I can upgrade the difficulty of attacks against me by a 2 using some talents.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, alright, fire a shipment at me. Try it. You're not gonna hit me.
That's what everyone prays.
What about the Tesla plan? Can that hit you?
He's like, no, seriously, go walk around Vancouver. I want to check something.
That is a turbo aether cannon. Because we have the medium Tesla cannon and the turbo aether cannon now.
Just wear plate mail. Alright, fine, hit me with the Tesla cannon. I don't care if the plate mail's in contact with the ground. I'm in a Faraday cage. Suck it.
I have 0 willpower.
It goes to 0 willpower, but it resets to 1. Like it says minimum 1.
So if I put some alcohol in front of you, would you still drink it?
No, you basically can tell him what to do at that point. Watch him resist you with his low willpower.
She's like, no, I'm not gonna do it. Oh, it's already in my hand.
You really wanna?
I would basically
Are you
become
needing a drink?
Bane because I would be addicted to literally anything because I have no willpower with which to stop myself,
Perfection.
and I'm just utterly roided out.
You need me. Look at us making friends.
Like I just picked up talents
Oh.
for combat medicine, so you know I can actually start doing medicine at some point if we ever get into a fight.
Yay.
Pressure point, so I can just kind of neat Vulcan
Vulcan
nerf pinch,
yeah.
and it's like he's down because like I do all my because it's still brawl, but I just choose to do all of it as strain, and then I can add strain to that equal to my ranks in medicine.
Oh, nice.
And so it's like, all right. And then there's another one which is like stunning strike, which is I can add even more damage, like equal to ranks in intellect, or to my intellect skill, which is 3 when I'm shaped to bronze. It's like that's still 3 additional strain and 4 additional. Like that'd be 7 additional strain on top of the damage I do with brawn. I can reduce my unarmed strikes crit rating, so it's easier to crit with my bare hands.
You're really hot now, Zanzibar.
Like legitimately, there's a lot of talents that like are really good for unarmed combat. It's ridiculous. It's also why Chris in my Sunday campaign for Twilight Imperium is so terrifying for me to have to contend with because like I have 8 soak and 5 brawn and a crit rating of 2 on my claws. And I have 5 ranks in brawl. Eat yellow dice. I nearly took him down this last time. Because I threw a big, like, Starship Trooper this insectoid at them. There were a couple of smaller ones that are decently powerful. They can do damage, even to Chris, but then there was one which James shot with a plasma pistol and activated the burn quality on. And the insect was covered in a sheen of oil.
Oh.
So the insect just goes up in flames and doesn't take any damage from it and stays on fire.
That would be the big bug.
Yeah. And he just, now the big bug has the burn quality for all of his attacks.
Adaptive is nice.
He's like, alright.
And then what does the mechanic do? Turn on the fire suppression system. Thank God he did too for that acid belch.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, the acid belch came, and it was like, ah, God, we're all dying.
No, the problem is I would have been dead the next round.
Yeah.
I had 2 points left. So what does Peter get out of the crew? head, Enclave.
And
We have met secrets.
He's Russian?
yes,
Yeah.
remember Alaska is also Russian, so it's like. And
Although isn't at this time now it was purchased?
look, Alaska
Oh,
is
so
still
Alaska's still.
That's later.
I don't know.
Well,
Yeah,
well, I
that
think he
last-
said,
yeah.
yeah, he said that it never went.
The Americans were busy with this whole
Ah,
Civil
so-
War thing, and they never made the
It's
purchase.
and the home of my family.
And it's current home of your hand.
For I am
Dun dun dun.
Russian prince.
Oh,
Okay.
The
Oh,
last,
man.
I think Anastasia, the last princess of the Russian family,
Oh,
he's the
yeah.
last prince of the Russian
I
family.
actually think that was.
Hopefully not last.
I think
but
that was
possibly
in
last.
character for us. I don't know if there's any reason why you would know about Russian nobility, but I don't think there's any reason my character would at all. Like he doesn't have any knowledge of history really. So I mean, you probably
I
would
don't even know
but
my
I'm
own
not there.
birthday.
You're walking around, so yeah, it's like I'm a Russian prince. Like, oh, okay.
I'm a prince.
Oh no, I'm a Romanov is what he said. He's like, I'm a Romanov. I was like, oh, that sounds Russian.
That sounds like a drink.
Is that anything like beef stroganoff?
Aw.
Well, kind of.
Beefy stroganoff.
Is he really a prince?
So he says.
Do you believe him?
Actually, I do. I mean, think about it. He's been all secret like. And there was that one guy who kept chasing us for some reason. He's got a real odd on
That's
for
why
him.
his life is like a romance novel.
Ah. And like that one guy that kept trying to kill him.
Russian soap
That
operas.
Russian guy. We got the coat from. Remember?
Oh, I remember
With
the
the
coat.
coins.
Yeah.
Those coins.
Well, either way, we're going to the North Pole.
Yeah, right.
I've never been there. Are there Yetis?
Mm,
I mean, there are Yetis in the Himalayas where we just were.
I mean, we technically didn't sweep the boat for Yetis, so there very well could be. We could be dropping them off in different places on our way there.
No,
Not-
no.
Is that really a bad thing?
That ship was very anti-Yeti. There was any
Yeah.
Yeti got within any distance.
It was very nopey,
was
not Yeti.
nuked with extreme prejudice.
So, $500 worth of
So,
military and mining and equipment and supplies.
Okay.
so yeah, so we're going to an enclave to do what?
Reuniting with his family.
To check the status of the enclave and the war against whatever it
The
is.
sovereignty.
The sovereignty.
They're all dead. It would mean we would have a secret base.
I like
Wow.
secret bases.
Secret base in the North Pole.
North Pole of
Oh, that's where you
the
can hide your children. Your orphan children.
No, secret.
Oh no, I
North
don't
Pole
need to hide
base.
them. We have graves
We
for that.
would be Santa.
If you underfeed the children, they'll stay
It's
small.
against the.
There
what's
are
the name?
always
Sovereignty.
The sovereignty.
Put them to work non-stop 24/7
Well-
with no sleeps or breaks. Perfect.
I mean, that's normal.
Yeah, I'm down. And I'm like, I want to be set upon. Let's go.
Okay, so
So,
While we're
I'm
still in
going to go.
Vancouver and I'm on
I'm
that
going to
walk.
go to one of the books that was just not one of the rare books, but just a normal book
okay,
that would have a picture of my father
okay.
in full regalia.
I'm sure you got an Encyclopedia
Yeah.
Brown collection in there.
This look like Santa Claus? Looks like Santa Claus.
Regal ribbons and chest wear.
Big fur. Eh? My dad.
Totally seeing the eyebrow and nose.
I see it. I see it.
While we're in
Whatever he
Vancouver,
has.
I'm gonna go about getting
Are you in there as
not
a
just
boy
refilling our water
in
supply,
the
but
picture, or
taking on an absurdly large extra
No.
load of water.
Okay.
Oh, but he's doing his walkabout. That's what's going on right now.
And we're going to the North Pole and getting one more thing of supplies. Vodka.
They probably have vodka up there. It's a Russian base.
rather not get killed.
I
by
consider
Russians.
survival supplies including alcohol.
That's a basic, basic survival winter trick.
Just wanted to make sure so we don't get
Oh,
killed by
and we actually have a
As you're like, we need extra vodka, and Peter goes up and you see there's like 3 crates of vodka.
And here's $10. Go have fun.
Here's $10. Take gosh for fun. Go put your finger in a light
He
socket
walks
for
up
$10.
and
Margaret, here I come.
Go, didn't you have an eye on another ship for some no discernible reason like 10 minutes ago?
Yeah, I'm discernible.
No.
Here's $10 and a chain of sausage links. Have fun.
But not a lot.
Okay, so are you heading off the ship?
Yes.
So the second you head off the ship and you get to the little lift in the spire to go down to the ground level, you immediately get into the lift and you realize the gentleman's getting in the lift with you at the same time. You make eye contact. And there's this awkward moment where it's the gentleman you were staring at from across the way. And you don't know why, you are just something about him. And this guy's giving you the stink eye, like there could be a problem.
Do I know you from somewhere?
Maybe.
Do you know me from somewhere?
Yeah, he was actually just about to say the same thing. What's your name, stranger?
Should I go Richard Nixon?
Richard Nixon? Or
I don't know, no Nixon.
But you know Richard.
I know lots of Richards.
What's your
You
name?
know a lot of dicks. Just say that in the elevator.
The name is McLean.
Is it John?
God damn it.
No, it's James McLean.
oh. That is gonna be like, it's Jane McClane.
Was that you in the other ship that I was staring at with that one lady?
I think it was.
Alright. In my head, I'm just thinking abort mission. She's on to me.
What mission? To find women? This guy's looking at me. No!
I want
I am the perceiver of things.
10 minutes later, the guy has no eyeballs. And we need to get out of Vancouver.
And the
Somebody
lift
died,
like,
and we
the
had
lift
to
like
leave.
stops, and you realize the guy this whole time has his hand on his sidearm. And he kind of is like looking at you and does the polite hat tilt, and he walks backwards-ish to like he can gun you down at any second. And you realize at this point that he's basically been sizing you up this whole time.
Man, I'm never good with being
I
the
was
alpha guy.
going to say this before this actually happened,
Uh-huh.
but I still don't entirely trust him. Can I use my streetwise to follow him and see if he's like going to get drunk and blab my secret?
Sure. Go ahead and give me a stealth to see if you can follow him.
But as soon as he gets off, can I just size him up too?
Yeah, you basically
Yeah, dude can play this game. James.
He doesn't have to blink. And he doesn't have to blink.
just cold dead eyes.
I see everything, James.
This is the perk.
It's against
Richard
his
Nixon, he's
perception.
Jedi dick.
4.
So how many ranks?
Oh, mercy.
4, and then I got like 1.
So one purple. Sorry, 3 purple, 1 red. But you're gonna add a blue there because he's busy sizing up the other guy.
I'm like, mad dogging.
Wow, I got lucky.
Well, you're motivated.
You are. You got lucky I was distracted by James. I want James.
Wait, did I get lucky?
You know what?
Yeah, you did.
Well, you obviously got
'Cause
lucky.
That takes
We
out
saw all the evidence
that.
on your knockout phase.
You still get 2 threat, so you still got those threat, but you get 2 successes. So go ahead and 2 strain because you're jumping in the freight lift that's basically hand cranked, and you're trying to hustle to catch up to him as you realize, you kind of peek around the corner and you see
So as soon as I was
James
done,
and
I just bound.
Richard
Some guy I don't
like
know.
staring off. And once he's walked clear, and you hitting town.
Yep.
So where are you going?
I'm just gonna go to the tavern and drink.
Okay. They ask what your
Can you
poison
get
is.
drunk?
No.
He can
But
try.
he can
He
drink.
doesn't know it yet.
Yeah. I haven't had the opportunity yet.
Okay.
And basically, they put the bottle in front of you.
Cool. I start drinking. And as soon as I start drinking, I'm gonna look around for some pretty women.
Sorry, it's the old joke. He doesn't just have a bottle in front of him. He has a frontal lobotomy.
So you're looking around, and from your perspective, there seems to be quite a few attractive ladies working the crowds.
Oh yes.
No. Working the crowds.
Oh, even better.
They
As
know
all
what
of
they're
a sudden,
doing.
your $10 bill gets turned into a $5 in coins.
Make it hail, baby.
Make it hail.
Throw the coins and hurt somebody.
I'm gonna look at one that I like, and then you, Janice. I like you.
And her name's not
No, not at all.
It's like Dottie or something.
Yeah,
But
he just refers to
Janice now.
Janice.
Okay,
In his
Carrot.
mind, there's a flashback of one synapse reconnecting,
Janice.
and there's some young girl with holding hands with him running up a hill. I love you, Janice.
So first of all, that's a police officer.
Opposite Janice.
His name is.
His name is.
He goes,
No.
He goes
It's
by
a gendarme.
He
We're
goes-
in Canada.
He goes by Dirty Harry. And you just threw coins at him.
And call him Janice.
Are you trying to bribe an officer, son?
Oh man.
It depends. Is it working?
It's Canada, it'd be A.
You tell me it doesn't work?
What are you doing for the lady? She comes, walking by, and you just throwing
Yeah,
coins out
just-
at her?
And I just look at her with a dumb smile.
And she immediately looks at you, looks at the coins, pulls up her little, scoops the coins under there,
Yes.
grabs you by the hand, and goes running up a room with you.
Oh,
Are
running.
you fully functional?
We're gonna find out.
But he's dead. He's deaf.
If it works out, it works out.
Light as a
It doesn't,
feather,
I
stiff
know.
as a board. Light as a feather,
He is
stiff as
a
a board.
This is how zombie outbreak.
She gets in the full rigor.
Yeah, but it's
just
not
put
an
it that
outbreak of
way.
zombies that we're worried about.
We're gonna leave Vancouver and decimate yet another town.
So besides
That's our
Richard
usual MO.
finishing up, does anyone else have anything else to wrap up in town?
What are you doing?
I'm just tinkering.
I have a terrible idea.
You usually do.
How would you like to accompany me and look for something that might help us?
Help us in what capacity?
Because I don't know what we're doing.
To help us
Rarely
to
do.
And I don't think you know what we're doing. So I think getting some help would help us.
Okay.
Since we are in Vancouver, and it was a while ago, I want to find a local native mystic that has magic abilities, much like me, and I want us to have a bit of time in like a sweat lodge or something along those lines to get ourselves ready to go to where we're going, and also to ask for some help from this guy.
Sounds like an episode of Outlander waiting to happen.
Yeah, I'm sure this is gonna end up great. We're gonna have some peyote.
So you-
It's gonna be fantastic.
So while you're in the
I'm here
saloon,
to just keep
watching the room he's up in and hearing noise, well, what's our mad scientist doing as these two are creeping off the ship?
I secured all that water, and now I think I'm gonna go about securing a sled. Not a dog sled, but a sled that I can pull through snow.
As an 8-man of Zanzibar sled.
Well, no, actually, it was a pretty common thing
Yeah, they
back
pulled
then.
the
A person would pull the sled.
the equivalent of a wheelbarrow.
Yeah.
Okay. So easily you're able to find that as you're seeing these two slinking off with some French
Slinking?
fur trader that they talked to about, hey, do you know any indigenous people? And it's like, I'm married to 2 indigenous people.
Is fur trader a euphemism? Because it sounds like a euphemism.
So he is leading them off out of town, it looks like, taking a trail off in town. He's asking you guys to get on his dog sled.
I don't know about this.
Don't worry, I've got plenty of skin to
I
keep
know.
you warm.
It's like, we have made way worse decisions.
True.
Then-
Well, I don't
then-
want to be too far from Gallivant too long.
No, not I either, but there's puppies.
Puppies.
And there's actually a husky puppy too, an actual
I'll
puppy.
play with it. It's so
It's a working dog. Don't spoil the working dog. As he throws the blanket over you, so you can spoil the working dog.
Is it called Scrappy?
He
is
is
now.
now.
So you guys go, nice little, village. It's patriot. It's got some French, workers, married into the local group out there. So it's like a little midway between their actual village and the city. So they've got that little half village. So you guys go to the local mystic. Anything in particular you're wanting to do when you feel the ether coming off of this guy? He's for real.
Do you have your ether
Yes, I do.
glasses? You might want to put them on right now.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Would the town have enough ether classes for everybody?
No.
Mine were custom made by me.
Oh, that's right.
By me.
Well, no, I had original.
Goggles.
They were.
Huh?
I had the Aether goggles, but then
Teacher.
yeah, it was dark vision goggles that I had.
Yes.
But then I added to them, so they have extra layers of bits.
So when you put your goggles on and you see this shaman, with your ether eyes on, when you turn them on, he looks 3 times stronger. His chin is square. His shoulders are is straight as a raven's wings. This guy's, with your ether eyes on, he is just oozing machismo ether. For a guy who looks like he's a very healthy 50s, very hard life, with your goggles on, it looks like he loses 20 years. Big barrel, Batman style chest. Shoulders that are perfectly straight. And basically he's like, sure, come in, but we'll get in touch with spirits.
Yes, this seems like a good idea.
So he looks half his age and quite robust.
Yes. And you bringing her with you into the sweat lodge?
That was the original plan, if you'd like to come in.
Click, click.
Archetype's progressive. we let women in the sweat lodge. It's good medicine.
Yes.
Okay, you guys trip balls on peyote and some drink that tastes like basically tree roots and licorice and a little bit of whiskey.
Perfection.
Do I know how to have a good time or not?
What am I doing here?
As your tools are talking to you, the wrench is talking to you.
We haven't even started having the actual drugs. Like, this
It's just dehydration setting in.
So you guys trip the
Yes.
world fantastic. You have some special kind of spiritual moment. You, when you're tripping, by the way, hear your ether other talking to you, asking his father for worldly advice.
Oh, excellent. I have a nice conversation with my godson.
So much more applications than that.
God.
You basically get this. You're not sure if it's the tripping on the stuff or something. He's
Oh
in
no,
some.
he's talking to him.
He's in some place where he turned it from like a desert to a jungle, and you just see the evolution of a jungle turning into a rainforest. Just learning about life. Circle of life, man. Circle of life. It's going to a river and making a fish crawl out of the water on its own legs and start turning into some kind of lizard.
I have so
this
many
is scary.
ideas. this is good stuff. I know what I'm going to be doing.
I see the universe as a machine.
Ooh.
The
You-
cogs.
It's all ones. It all
We're
makes
all
sense.
cogs.
It's just gyres fun.
Okay,
Fun
so the
gyres.
next day, you guys pretty much all made it back to the ship.
Airship
Pretty much all?
universe.
Yep.
Question.
Peter was, of course, the first one back at the ship after you were strapping your things down. Not too long later, our reanimated friend comes back with the biggest frozen shit grin smile on his face.
Still works, guys.
Wait, do you have recollections of having sex? Like, do you know what that's like, or did the hooker just kind of like sit in a room with you and throw coins at you and say, "This is sex. This is sex."
She gets her purse with the coins and goes, oh.
Stop teasing me.
Was it good for you?
You're so good. You're the best I've
No,
ever
There were
had.
tentacles
This is the
involved.
best. Oh.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure it's a little. My idea of sex is a little bit different than yours, anti-man.
I have
Oh!
a very broad definition of sex.
And then later on that day, these
So
two
your
come
definition of sex is
staggering back. Their eyes look all weird and funny.
Probably completely quiet. Just on the way back, just like the wind is nice. It's cold. It's like,
They all have this glistening cold sweat going.
I napped the whole way with the puppy.
the puppy.
Don't know why, but somehow there's a puppy popping out of her utility belt that hits her ride.
There are animal companion talents.
As opposed to just a menacing puppy stealing all your tools.
And it's funny because we have a new puppy, and her name is Hilda.
Oh no! You could name this puppy Cogs. No revelation.
And Freya kisses her so much she's also wet like Freya. So you guys basically make your plans. Who's going to give me the astrogation roll?
Not me.
I'll do it.
And I'm like in my bunk.
But I shouldn't.
All of a sudden you're like, just talk to me one more time, Spanner. Between you and me, I know you can talk. Okay? And you were warned, by the way, because, when you were getting your sled, they were like, so you're heading what direction?
North.
Oh, be careful of the Sovereignty's observation balloons. They basically are little weapons platforms that, and they probe the border to make sure nobody sneaks in them. If you go, wait till there's a good cloudy day and then stay in the clouds. So I'll give you blue dice for that.
Are they weaponized observation balloons?
Yeah.
4 sessions.
Just saying, it would solve problems every time.
We'll figure it out when we get to Atlantis.
So, can we avoid sovereignty land to get to the North Pole?
That's what I
as
was
much
gonna
as
kind of ask.
possible?
Because like, if it's only on the border, then it's like, is the North Pole within their border? I would think not. If the Russian
Kind of. They have observation pods out there.
watching the Russians.
Remember the Sovereignty claims the Russian border. The Sovereignty's taken over and claimed the border. They would love to find those royals out there, but they think they're all dead, so they don't look any further north than their border walls.
All right. How many purple?
I think it's against 3 purple, mainly because you're not willing to buy any charts from the border.
Purple.
Now, if you buy some charts from some locals, I'm just saying.
Locals stubborn.
Things happen.
You did well.
All kinds of things. I only
Yeah.
see 3 threat, right? And I see more than I didn't see those 2 fails.
Yeah, but he's got.
There's some more shebang there.
So that looks like 4 successes.
4 successes. So of course you guys, you all get back. You make that look like we're ready to go. Screen swipe, as all of a sudden the screen shows this dark night sky. What's up? You got one thing you want to throw in before you leave?
Oh, no, I was just going to say, we're not telling people we're going to the North Pole. We're telling
You did.
I just said we're
I said
heading
we're going
north.
2 at last.
And there's not much more north left, but yeah.
So you see, the camera sees the starry black sky, and the camera slowly starts panning down, and you see this weird mechanical balloon contraption. It looks like a weather balloon. How it's got the higher upper atmosphere. That balloon stretches because of the air pressure, and then there's this insane clockwork pod underneath it that seems to have like little telescopes pointing in every direction and little appendages like twitching and testing the barometric pressure up there. And you see another one like half a mile away from this one. And then slowly the camera pans down a little further and you see the clouds. The just bank of pea soup white cloudness. Then the camera pans down a little further into the clouds, and then all of a sudden Gallivant comes fluttering by. The quietest you've ever heard
Stealth
her.
mode.
Lights are
Every
down.
light
Run silent, run deep.
As you guys are just
Only sound is the and the creaking of
the
the ship.
planks in the
It
wood.
doesn't even
And me
sound.
screaming.
It doesn't even sound like an airship. It sounds like whales humping or something. Because we've got a caterpillar drive.
As you guys are heading north and you get past the barricade, and the camera swipes again, and you see later on it's daylight, as only you can have in the north, and you see glacial ice underneath with a little bit of water between these cracks of ice, and in the far distance, it says Peter's following the coordinates that he has for you guys. You all of a sudden see, just in a trench, somebody pop their head up with these big old mechanical ether tech goggles looking right at you
Is
guys.
there a tom-tom somewhere nearby?
Mutant ostrich made for ice country. And it looks right at the Gallivant. Now,
Can
what do
they
you-
see? Can they see into the front cabin?
Probably not.
Okay, they need to go up top. I am going to go into my chest,
Okay.
pull out the old flag underneath the secret compartment.
Flag. Okay. But pulls all the things out and gingerly pulls the dusty panel out, and there's the flag.
Go up to the crow's nest.
Okay.
No, we're not
Oh, you're just gonna
flying
hold
it.
it.
I'm just holding it, blocking up. So that
Okay.
way, unless you're out that way, you can't see it.
Okay, so you're standing out there, the wind is blasting your face.
We've
kind
got
of-
the heavy.
You still got the eyebrows with the icicles. So after an hour of you standing out there, just when you think it's too late, that's when the guy with the goggles sees your ship as you've got like little icicles on your gloves, and you've been like, please let someone see this. Please let someone see this. As the goggles are there, and all of a sudden they go click, 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 and the blades of lenses fall down, and all of a sudden they see the close-up of you holding the flag. And in pure Russian, because, you know, whoever's seeing this from a camera point of view doesn't speak Russian, so they just bark in Russian to someone, and someone pulls up a telegraph machine and starts clickety clack click, and you see the little wire that just disappears into a wall of ice. And then all of a sudden, there's a rumble in the ice ahead of you guys. So give me perception, Mr. Perception Guy.
Yeah, let's do this.
Poor Peter is freezing his ass off up there, and you're like, why is he up there?
What do you need?
One green. Yes. And then how many purple?
It's going to be against 3 purple and a black. Your cold, dead eyes are going snowblind. All you've been seeing for days is white. I thought you were better. I thought you had one.
That's a success.
Didn't you have 1 rank in
Yeah.
perception?
So
One of
what
those
did
greens should be
Did you put a
yellow.
rank in perception?
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus, you get an extra blue. Oh no, you don't.
He doesn't have that.
Either way, there's a success.
So he succeeds.
So you immediately see a guy with this big honking telescope goggles looking at you guys. And all of a sudden you see some cracks in the ice behind him, like glacier plates hitting each other. But all of a sudden out of it crinks, and you see this weird 4-legged, almost spider-like black iron contraption rising out of the ice. Like it's been getting snowed on and snowed on and snowed on. And it's rising out. And you see it's got like 2 missile pods. And on its side is the old Russian banners and all the military decorations in perfect bright colors of paint. You can clearly see that this thing's been freshly painted. They still believe in the old Romanov style lifestyle. And I'm just giving it that you're spotting this thing. But as it's rising from the ice, and you see 2 very intimidating missile pods on each side pointed right at the Gallivant.
Can I point the cannon right back at it?
Yeah.
Cool.
As your gun, that you feel the Gallivant shift of the big gun moving in place.
Don't point that thing there.
They're pointing guns at me?
As he
Yes,
holds
we
the
don't
flag
care.
and goes to the talking to. Don't point guns at friends.
That's what they're doing.
I thought this was a Russian thing.
It's like the Minbari, right?
You open your gun ports as a sign of respect. Okay, and just then, are you going to do something else to signal?
Is there a way I can give you the bottle of vodka so that we can know that we become friendly?
Shoot a bottle of vodka.
What's the old salute? The one.
You
Shooting
could
a bottle of vodka.
You can even take one of your records and put it on the megaphone, because she did make a megaphone for the ship.
No, I still. Oh, okay. We will do the Imperial March then.
Yeah.
Dun,
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 Not
dun.
that Imperial March.
dun, dun.
Oh no,
So,
you don't have a choice now.
You were seeing this thing pointing its rocket launchers at you, because that's all it is a rocket. It's a walking rocket launcher. And all of a sudden, you all hear through the intercoms that squelch of the phones being powered up, and then the scrape of a record up on the main deck, because of course it's not smooth up there. And then the scratch click, scratch click, scratch click, and then the orchestra starts of your national anthem, I'm assuming.
What the heck?
As all of a sudden the person with the binoculars is yelling some more things as the sound is echoing, and you're hearing like ice crack, like literally glacier. You're hearing the twang, crack, crack, crack.
Maybe we'll stop that.
As you turn the sound down a little, as basically the guy in the little telegraph thing's finishing up, and he's like waving to the spider mech to just like chill, be cool.
Good.
What about your big gun?
I'm gonna chill now.
And your little gun, ka-chung, and you feel the airship kind of bounce with that.
Okay. I'm going to go down below before I freeze my eyebrows off.
Okay, because you've been up there a long time saying, please let someone see this. Okay, you come down below deck. As soon as you open your hands, you can hold them flat so long, your hands just crack. And then the ice bits break off your gloves, and you're just like, need vodka. And basically, you easily see that off in the snow, where there's a fairly clear place, somebody comes out with the little semaphore flags and flags you to land right here.
Pilot, keep on going.
And then another guy comes running out with like a red cloth and runs out a strip. Then he runs over and hammers down another piece and then runs out another strip, so there's a red X on the ice for landing.
So if you don't see the red X, 1, you should be a pilot. 2, land right there.
Wow.
He's not wrong.
Okay. Russian Protocols 101. We do this, we do this, we do this. You stand behind me. Don't speak.
Alright, I'm gonna have a bottle of vodka right
Yes, I'm looking mostly at you.
here.
Hold the bottle gingerly like this is the present for you.
This, yep.
Okay, so just as you guys land, you get on your uber cold gear. Is everyone going to disembark?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so you're all in your parka gear. Little puppy sitting up on the engine where it's warm. As it pees on something.
Sex, drink, and vodka.
Scrappy.
Scrapper and Scrappy, huh? As you guys come out and you see the gentleman's got the goggles on with the whole hood that's got like cogs. The cog's got his hoodie on, and he like pulls his, and he's like looking at you and he's gesturing as your engine, because I'm assuming you're leaving your engines on still, so that way your heat web will keep you warm. As he's yelling and more or less gesturing for you to come and join him, and he turns and starts walking towards what looks like a trench, but you realize there must be some kind of habitation under the snow. And you see the little quad
Does he have
thing.
a military uniform on?
It's a very bland hodgepodge outfit that looks like it's got 5 or 6 spots where it's been stitched and stitched together. It looks very, very hodgepodge together.
Is it a military outfit?
Yeah, you get the idea that there's pieces of military, and of course we're seeing like canvas material just plastered on to fill in the holes.
When I walk up to him,
Uh-huh.
I stand like I'm waiting for a salute.
And he gives you the double take and does the, he pulls the hood open. You just see like steam come out. And you realize inside the hood it's electrically heated.
Ooh, I'm gonna steal that.
And he looks at you,
Also,
You don't
And-
need it.
Also, steal
Actually, I'm
the
waiting for a
spider
pow.
missile launcher.
and in perfect
We don't have room on
Russian,
the ship
perfect
for that.
Imperial
And we
Russian,
get a new ship.
he looks at you
Better
and
ship.
says, "Do we know each other, sir?"
Wait, leave it gyro.
He doesn't recognize you.
We
And
didn't put a missile launcher.
Yeah, but we also have a motorcycle with the sidecar.
Why, there's 2 missile launchers.
Peter Antonovich, blah 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 Romanov.
Blah is my favorite.
And his
Russian.
eyes go
Blah
huge
blah blah.
as he immediately does the whole hand to the chest and drops to a knee and salutes you. And you all see this guy drop to a bow, and then like his colleagues are looking at what's going on, and they like shuffle forward real quick and drop into a bow right behind him. As you can see, they're like in Russian. Anybody speak Russian in the group?
I do.
I can pretend to speak Russian.
As you heard that conversation, and as soon as he said who it was,
Wait, yeah, you were supposed to be off the ship by now or making a decision.
No one stopped me.
Okay.
as all of a sudden you have that exact sparkle.
Wait a minute.
And that's a good place to wrap it up there.
Oh, yay! We didn't die again!
Oh, remember, this
That
is
has
the
2
easy
different
part.
meanings.
No, it's got like 3 different meanings.
With this group.
No one in the crew died and came back again.
I've killed 10 people with tentacles, but that's just creepy.
But that's
Yeah,
That
let
was my favorite knockout.
me, allow me to read them.
There's
I've killed people with tentacles, and that is creepy. You want to take samples of this. Dot, dot, dot. It's a knockout drug. It's Hilda's knockout drug. Is this what we called the meeting for?
He said something after that too.
Because I made sure to leave my one destiny.
No, he didn't say anything after that. That was
That's
just
your
all
guess.
us mocking it after that.
You should have
We
more.
are Santa Claus. The name's McLean. James McLean. Dead-eyed Dick. Can you get drunk? No, but he can try. You see several girls working the crowd. Oh, okay. No, he means working the crowd. Oh, all right.
Even better.
Even better.
This is
I'm having a
hilarious.
conversation with my son. Do you remember having sex? I start playing the Imperial March. Not that Imperial March.
And of course, yes, you get 10 experience for not burning down Vancouver.
Must be apocalypse.
Yet.
Time.
Wow, I
Does
think
anyone
that
want
might, wait. I think that might be the first city we visited and they didn't realize it. I think every other city we visited had catastrophic effects of one thing or another.
What about the city that we accidentally
Marseille.
allocated to? Is Marseille? I
We
don't
never
think-
actually go there.
Yeah.
You
We
hit,
just go
you hit the
towards there.
countryside of Marseille just
No,
with
we've
this.
hit it before.
With the
We've
ship.
never
We
stayed
stopped at
Right,
it.
we've never
But
actually
we've
stayed
been
in Marseille.
there.
I think this is the first city that we've stopped at.
That you're benign with.
That they did not,
Or we
that
haven't
they did
drawn
not
an unnecessary
realize
amount
that
of attention.
something untoward happened.
I've had too much sleep. Does anyone else?
How do you know? You left Hilda there.
Oh, how do we know that she's not still on the ship?
You guys know. These two are the only ones that do.
Well, neither of them saw her leave.
The best part is, you know Scrapper's thinking
No,
what to
I
do
said,
with her brassieres that she left behind.
Hey, I can use the
See?
material for.
For a doggy door.
It's a puppy.
the old movie, Pink Submarine.
Saved by a woman's brassiere.
Seriously, there's animal companion talents. Scrapper can have an animal companion, which will bring you your tools when you call for it.
Oh my god, I'll have to take a look at that.
Yeah. It's not a useless talent. Just don't let the mad scientist get a hold of your puppy.
But then it can carry more tools with its hands.
Then it can be a
With its
with
hands.
its hands
And it can
scorpion
speak.
tail.
And be the ultimate animal companion. It can fight
She can
and
say,
it
you speak.
And it
She
can
can say,
also-
what do you want me to say?
It can say,
It would say.
it can say, F-word.
And we now know what the chimeromancy's about.
Yep. Guess I should start taking ranks in that.
Or
Sorry,
worse,
Eric.
you can't find Scrapper on the ship and it says, my name's Scrapper. Uh-oh, he's got that. He's Morse coding. checking out porno tonight. They're having a great turnout for Magic tonight.
Yeah, they are. Well, I don't know where the fuck it went, but it was about Edward.